Hey, good morning, everyone. Charles Boone here with Prosper Trading Academy. I run the penny stocks and marijuana new room, and some names that we're going to be looking at closely this week. I'm going to throw a few ticker symbols out to you, and I'll kind of analyze them as I go. This video may run around 6 minutes or so, but if you guys have interest, it's something to watch here. Now, AERO. AERO actually originally came up on my scanner list for penny stocks. And of course, I've been following this name, and it's pretty clear where support and resistance is fairly definitive. It's in this huge block of volume that's listed on the left here, and I'll just highlight it. And you can just see collectively, even just prior to where I highlighted, how extended this sideways range is. And after they had that initial breakout and found support, well, what ended up happening was it got pulled back into this range like a magnet, and it's just going back and forth until we could hopefully get a breakout one way or the other. Of course, with these marijuana names, I am not looking to be a fader. I love the long-term potential in this sector. I actually believe once we go fully legal nationally, meaning it's federally legalized, that marijuana will end up being a commodity that is traded daily like oil, like wheat, like gold, and such. So for others that have interest in the sector like I do, let's start with AERO. Any breach really above 260, I'm going to be looking to be a player. I'll probably be understanding that, the $3 mark can be some resistance. We found that on this little candle shadow, and there's that fallout. So any breach above should lead us back towards this 330 to 360 range. I love the upside here in arrow on a breakout. CAN is a little bit different, CANN, general cannabis, and really it's just advanced cannabis. They had a smaller condense with a substantial breakout, and once it got through this mark here, which is a $6 mark, it slowly slid off, and now it's just holding. I'm going to be watching it very close around the $3 mark. Any rejection off 3 and extension beyond 4, I'm going to easily speculate that I could get back to the 5 and 7 range. This is one of the stocks that I would look at for very aggressive breakout opportunities. More short-term swing plays, that would be the way to go. TWMJF. Now, here's something a little bit more interesting. This is my favorite name out of the entire group, and it's just because of the dealings that they have with a major corporate name that goes by Constellation Brands. For those that know, STZ is a pretty substantial name in the beverage industry. For those that drink Coronas, you, in essence, are supporting Constellation. But we're just kind of channeling at the moment. You can see where our key clear-cut resistance is right at 36 evens. You can see that the stock has been responsive after this drop and has slowly started to showcase more bullish behavior. Not saying that I would play the trend line. I'm looking for more bullish activity here, but as long as they don't break through this trend line, I am looking to be a buyer short term. Now, it did have a quick spike near that 27 mark and ended up rejecting a little bit here and moving lower. So we're going to key in on that price there. That high is going to be 26.78. So let's just say it needs to clear 27s for us to be safe. And for that clearance, I think that it'll take us to that 31 mark. 30 could be that psychological resistance, but that 31 mark is going to be where I'm going to be looking to get to if we have some volume that comes in along with this name. Aurora is another biggie here. Of course, it's a lot bigger on the Toronto exchange as opposed to the U.S. exchange. It's still an OTC like Canopy, but these are some of the more popular names, and this is very similar. This is finding the behavior more like Canopy, but if you notice, we've already breached through that level. And this is the one thing I don't want to see with TWMJF. I want to see that actual supportive theory come into play. Now, this happens to rebound $9.50 to $10 is the mark to clear. Above 10, you're going to look for about a 20% jump. CBDS, ladies and gentlemen, CBDS. Now this is cannabis sativa as we go by. And really, they're makers and producers, but this is interesting. This is interesting because this is a name that could get some pretty substantial volume in very quickly and make very swift moves. Now, if you could see and watch, it's pretty much in this downtrend, and we are slowly finding some collective support on this downside. This is what we call a flag formation, right? And really, if they get through 550, that's the level that I'm going to watch here, this 550 mark, and they find that insta support, that's going to be very important to me, that insta support. Then I'm going to speculate they're going to go after this particular level right here, right around that 7 mark. And you can see that just prior to that rejection, we had more resistance around that 7 mark. Any breach of 7, I don't think it's going to get back to these highs. I think it's going to make higher highs. So CBDS is one that you're going to want to keep an eye on as a momentum play. Cara Therapeutics. Now, this is obviously a listed stock. This is more biopharma, I guess you want to put it, as opposed to just outright cannabis plays. GWPH, INSY, they're all the same. These are subjected more to the macro market moves. GWPH actually has caught a little bit of a bid. That is also in conjunction with some marijuana, but you can see INSY, it looks a lot different. So, you know, these are to me more individual plays based on pharmaceutical sales and opportunities. GWPH, of course, is going to be the biggest name out of them all. It is Wall Street's go-to for marijuana. And, you know, you could just see what they've done since last year and how swift and volatile the stock can really move. I mean, it went from 96 to 140s fairly quickly. It also went from 130s to 92 fairly quickly. So, you know, this is one where you don't want to load up on. This is going to offer up a lot of short-term opportunity, but has a lot of volatility associated with it. For those that are risk adverse, it might be one that you want to stay away from. IMLFF, InMed. This is also something that has been on my radar lately, more so because of the huge breakout that took place here, highlighted right next to this circle. And so on this pullback, what I'm actually looking for is speculative support somewhere around this $1 mark. And I know that it's just slightly below those old highs, but the low of the last session was at 199 and it closed above that $1 mark. So today, to me, $1 is the utmost importance. Now, there is support in the longer term, and you can clearly see it here. But $1 is going to be the short-term support level I really want to keep an eye on. Cron, the first marijuana name listed on exchange, the NASDAQ. This is also showcasing a lot more weakness as of late. I was actually getting very excited. I thought this was going to be an opportunity for me to call a swing play until it did that. And it's showing nothing but weakness. Look at how many red candles we've had in a row. So because of that, I'm kind of holding off. More than anything, I want to see what it does back towards this level if it comes back. Now, there is a possibility that some support could come in. I'm just going to highlight it right in this massive HVA range. But if $7 doesn't hold, that's going to be pretty important here. We'll take that. That's the most recent swing low that we could watch also. So let's just say if it gets through 7, this is not going to be a level of interest. It'll be more, it'll be a little bit lower. It'll be near that 200, right at that $4 mark. But if $7 holds, that means theoretically upon rejection, your upside, even in the short term to the 50% retracement of this HVA range, is going to be $1.50 with the possibilities of $10 to that upside. Oh, man. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at MJ. MJ is the ETF for marijuana. Now, if you notice, some of these stocks have reoccurring patterns going across the board. MJ also has had some weakness. I think theoretically that $30 mark psychologically is going to be extremely important. And you tie that with what is considered the most recent swing low right at that 30 mark. It's got to hold. It's got to hold. Otherwise, we're going to start seeing more signs of weakness. We're going to see the squeeze out of the buyers, and we see that panic. And You know, sellers may take on full control. I really want to see the bulls wake up here. I don't want to see that level get breached. In fact, I want to see it come back down, create a higher low from this level here, retrace back, and that means if it starts moving up, our upside potential is somewhere between 34.5 to 35 short term, with of course the makeouts towards a high 90, a high 39s, where we revisited on that euphoric move when Canada, Las Vegas, and California all basically went legal around the same time. So keep an eye on this, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot of names that I gave out. This is something to watch here within, you know, the next 3 to 5 trading sessions. Possibly could extend out for the next 10 days or so to the end of the month. But this is what's on my radar short term. And if we could get the supportive buying back in and have it sustain, this sector and these stock names offer up immense profit potential in a very short period of time. I love the marijuana sector. I love what it could offer. I know there's a lot of people out there. Some are already familiar with these names, but if you're uneducated, these are the names to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Do appreciate your time today. I hope everyone has a wonderful trading day. This is Charles Moon with Prosper Trading Academy saying, see ya, everyone.